a disgusting thing, and moreover, it was done just in the open air, almost a live show, and it was totally disgusting as totally. I'd like to render my condolences to the family of Mr. Kirk and his next of kin, and certainly we sympathize with him. Moreover, he was defending those traditional values, and by the way, the ones that Michael Gloss came to defend with arms in his hands, and he sacrificed his life for that, and he sacrificed his life here in a fight for the traditional values. As a Russian soldier, and Kirk gave his life there in the United States, but fighting for the same values. What is the difference? There is almost no difference.
You have called for, I will shut down the.
All right, Shalom. I'd like to start off saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Harikah Kodash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and double honors to the elder apostles as well down here in the Lions Den camp. I heard one Bon Yashar Allah. Salutations to the Akamai pushing the truth, sincerity, and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Khanak Sa'am Bon Yashar Allah for the Lions Den Yashar Allah camp. And this is, you know what? This is a news and prophecy. It's not like, uh, well, it's it's based upon this. Let me get it real quick, Shalaki. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. There we go. Let me get this real quick because it's based upon the division in America off a little short article that I read. The article was only one paragraph long about Vladimir Putin talking about the division in America and the assassination of Charlie Kirk last month was an example of that, or proof of that. That the division in America is so extreme that they'll go to that type of uh, restraints to push an agenda or a certain belief. Now we have our beliefs and what we believe in the name of Yahweh Shema Shai, but we're not out here willing to unalive anybody based upon that, because the Lord said, "Let vengeance be His." Right. So it's like, let's get Second Ezra chapter 15 verse 1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." So now the words that are being spoken of by the true prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahshai are coming to pass. And what was one of the things that Yahweh Shai talked about was if Satan divided against Satan. You know? Hold on 1 second. Let's go down to verse 16. It says, For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So what are these individuals doing? They're taking matters in their own hands, and they feel like they're fighting for a just cause, not seeing there's an agenda being pushed by the upper elites to keep division. America was founded on division, right? So America was never stable. I had a stable foundation from the get-go. You know what it did? It was just cause a lot of confusion between the people, and and if you keep people separated, there's no way they'll be able to come together to see how they're being manipulated and gaslit into following this system that's set up to really oppress everybody. It oppresses the children of Israel even more. But this devil's so Slacky. This devil's so devious. He doesn't give a fuck who he oppresses or unalive to push his agenda. And you have another thing I want to go into is that the essence of white privilege and what it does to poor whites. Um, the letter that was written by I think of W. E. Du Bois. All right, so let me read this article real quick. It says Putin says the unaliving of Charlie Kirk is sign of deep rift in the United States. It says Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Thursday that the murder last month of right-wing U.S. political activist Charlie Kirk was disgusting and proof that there was a deep divide in American society. Right. Not only that, it's a deep divide in um um deep divide in Edom. See that? All right. Yeah. So and the video that was played in the beginning, he was talking about the values that Charlie Kirk was defending that he gave his life for. He really didn't, you know, Yahushua gave his life for true values and truth, and for as an atonement for the sins of the children of Israel. That's giving your life knowingly going into a situation where you know you could possibly what's going to happen. That's giving your life. Charlie Kirk did not give his life. He would if somebody told him that if you go do this today, somebody told him that it was gonna happen before it happened, he wouldn't have done it. He wouldn't have risked his life. He would have thought about his family, as he should, right? Nobody's risked their life like Yahushua risked his life as an atonement for the sins of the children of Israel, for us to have peace on earth. You get it? I'm saying so now we wouldn't even have a chance of of defeating this system that's set up to oppress us if it wasn't for what Yahushua did for us. Because there would not be correct order on earth until the children of Israel are in their proper state of mind and in their proper land. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, for him to say that he gave his life, that's showing his true Edomite ways, and he's comparing the values of his to I forgot the other guy he was just talking about, but that's 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 that Edomite bullshit, and how they think they have the privilege, like what they're fighting for is all lies, and Yahweh Shema Shai is going to destroy it. But I mean, of course, it is disgusting. You don't want to see somebody lose their life like that, like unwillingly. It wasn't like, oh, I'm signing up to risk my life. But we risk our lives daily on a regular for what we believe in, and which is the truth, right? But and something could happen to one of us, and the world wouldn't even blink an eye at it. There'll be like one less. You know what I mean? So it says 3 weeks after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Russian leader Vladimir Putin offered his condolences to the family of the slain conservative activist while claiming that the disgusting crime was proof of a deep rift in American society. Speaking at a Vladi discussion group in Sochi on Thursday, Putin condemned the unaliving of the Turning Point USA founder who was shot during a QA event at a Utah university on September 10th. This is a disgusting crime, even more so because it happened live on air. In fact, we all saw it, Putin said while taking questions at a conference. It truly looked repulsive, adding that he wanted to give his condolences to Kirk's family and all his loved ones. Putin said he sympathized and shared in their grief. At the same time, Putin claimed that the assassination of the prominent right-wing influencer and close ally to President Donald Trump revealed a massive division in American culture at this moment, right? So let's deal with that division, because that division, America was founded on that same division. You know, with the so-called Emancipation Proclamation, allegedly, um, uh, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated because of that, allegedly, or amongst other things. But you know, there's plenty of things like that that happen in America. But guess what? It's all part of an agenda that's being pushed. And there's so much division in America that the whiteys, the ones that are on the same playing field as us, don't even understand the oppression that they go under. All right. So what is that called? What is that? Let's go into that. Let me see. Where is it? Polarization. Polarization. All right. It says political polarization in the United States. And polarization is the sharp extreme division between two different contrasts of people, right? You have a political. They're trying to say because of uh, um, Democratic and Republican Party, but it's not just. It's just not a party set. It's more to. It's more of an ideology that the upper elites want a crisp, fine line between blacks, whites, between immigrants and so-called citizens, between political parties, between religious views, and they wanted it so extreme that people would do things that they would take matters in their own hands and do things like what happened to Charlie Kirk. Now, and I'm not condoning what happened to him, but I don't believe in his ways that he was teaching. Right? He believes that um, we're the problem. Like he says, black people out of society, we commit the most crimes when they commit all the crimes. Look at all the police brutality cases. People being unalive when it should be a simple arrest, if that. You see? So there's so many things that causes division in America, and people don't even realize it. So understanding that, you know, America was founded on the division, it was never set up to last anyway. So it never had no sturdy foundation. And you know what the scriptures say: if a kingdom divided against itself, it can't stand. All right. So this is literally what Putin was talking about. One of the cases he was talking about is the political polarization in America. And I did a lesson about this about 3 or 4 years ago. But since he came out with that, just kind of go into it again. It says polarization is a prominent component of political in the United States. Scholars distinguish between ideological polarization, difference between the policy and positions, and effective polarization, a dislike and distrust of political outgroups, but both which are apparent in the United States. In the late 20th and early 21st century, the U.S. has experienced a greater surge in ideological polarization and effective polarization than comparable democracies. So basically, what they're saying is, in the United States, the level of division is greater than any other country. You see that? So this place is doomed and destined for a downfall. You see that? That's what happens when you have people that come together with all these different beliefs. That's why there's no structure and there's no order, there's no foundation, there's no, what I'm saying. But now they wanna try to put a stop to all that with this new world order and have everybody on one level of thinking according to the way the system is set up. Well, the new system, and it's all about money, power, and control by the upper elites. So, and the thing about it is, the way they do that is through systematic and systemic racism, um, uh, painting false narratives, like I said before, making everybody believe that we're the bad guy, that we commit the most crimes by bringing forth like um falsified statistics, saying that 13% of the population create over 50% of the crimes here in the United States. When you think about it, the whole system is built on crime and unlawful deeds, unrighteous deeds, and decrees. As a matter of fact, let's hold on. Let me get where is it? Let's get hold on. Isaiah 10. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and thy right grievances which they have prescribed." Right, they're creating these laws, which what, like, you know, like the system is set up, and these laws are set up to keep that division. amongst people. You know, they still have us being a 3/5 of a man. Animals have more rights than the so-called black men in the United States of America. You see that? Animals have more rights than the so-called black man in the United States of America, and that's the truth. So now, in understanding that this system of, even though it's not as oppressive on the so-called middle class and poor white people, is still oppressive on them. But in order to get the agenda across, because they have it set in their mind that we are the problem, and anything that can negatively affect us, it doesn't matter whether it negatively affects them or not, because they're all for it. As long as it oppresses and keeps us down, because they have this false narrative painted in their mind that we're the issue and we're the problem, not the ones that's bringing the problem, the upper elites with this whole system that's set up. And that was the what is it called? Let me get it from W.E. Du Bois. W.E. Du Bois says the white privilege theory, right? W.E.B. Du Bois laid the groundwork for modern white privilege theory, which is concept of the public and psychological ways of whiteness, arguing that even poor white people workers receive benefits from the system of white supremacy, in which they do, right? It says this idea, or let's get down this part. It says the bold central argument was that capitalism used to construct a race of to divide and conquer the working class, while white laborers were economically exploited by the capitalist class. They were compensated in their in other ways. All right, so they are compensated in other ways. There's another one. Um, where is it? There's another theory that he put forth that basically was saying that um with the things that are put out there, like when they took away um like everybody feeling it now when they took away the food stamps the way they did. You see that? Even though it's affecting the white community also, they don't care because they'll take that hit on the chin because whether they're saying like they think majority of African so-called African Americans, so-called black people live off welfare in the government, when that's not the case. There's actually more white people on government assistance than there are blacks, to be honest, to be fair. You see that? But we're not going nobody wants to talk about that. So this division was created from the beginning when with the construction of America. So it's the whole thing of divide and conquer, right? So and you know with with the way of America being like this, there's no way it was never set up to succeed. This is a place of judgment that Yahweh Bashim Shai is going to bring down his wrath. All right, so let's just get a scripture to close it out. Just wanted to touch on that a little real quick, and we're going to get was it Matthew 12 and 26, I think. Or was it 26 and 12? Okay, all right. It says Matthew 12 and 25, it says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. See there? You know, so they were talking about Yahushua calling him a devil. Matthew 12 and 25 again, it says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? So you got not only that, going back to the lesson that the elder apostle Aharawan did yesterday, going into how all these nations are coming up against America, right? And then going in how the 10 horns are gonna turn and hate the horse, strip her of everything, and then burn her with fire, right? This place and Russia coming against this place, and all of them are Edomites. You see that? See how the Lord is setting them up to their own demise, you know? So anything divided against itself has not a strong leg to stand on. And the way America was constructed, it never had a strong leg because there was never no unity. It should have been called the divided states of America. Because when it came down to it, when it first came about, what was it? It was a union and a confederacy against each other. And they just turned that into the Democratic and Republican Party. That goes into Revelation um 13. Let me see. It talks about the two different parties. Hold on, real quick. Oh my gosh. What the hell is wrong with slacking? Alright. Phone was acting retarded real quick. Is it slacking? I don't know what's going on with this. Hold on one second. There we go. Alright, and it says, alright, this is Revelation 13 and 11. It says, and I beheld another beast come out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. See that? The two horns represent the Democratic and Republican Party, and that represents a division in America, man. You know what I'm saying? Like a lamb, meaning they were promoting peace, but in a deceptive way, because they spoke as a dragon, like going back to the Roman draconian measures that America puts on everything. So it was established on division. It's a place of confusion. That's why it's called Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon. Babylon means confusion, man. All right. Lord, when this lesson to edify the servant's purpose for the hope of the elect, the ones that truly believe in the name, Yahweh Shem Shai with that, the like say call Halayim, like Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Harakak Wadash, my Amath. Double honors to the elder apostles wearing millstone, and double honors to my elder apostle as well. I heard one Bon Yashar from down here in the lines in camp. Salutations to the archon that are pushing the truth and sincerity the truth, and peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name, Yahweh Shem Shai. Shalom.